Hey there, people. Welcome to a new episode of The Board. And I released on fxhash on my account some tutorials article called The Board. And yeah, it's basically I do put here some templates and try to explain different things from real basic with some video tutorials to the latest one, and that's like soft 3D engine. And in the first tutorial on the bottom, I explained basic about HTML and stuff. And yeah, today I want to more do a thing about reverse engineering and getting a template ready for yourself, getting that car on the road, or making that electric guitar so you can jam with it. So, no music this time. Well, there's some music. So, we're going to rock into the new year, 2024. It's still the last day of the year. Yes. Right. I really, when I was like 12, 13, I found this in the shop. And I never could buy one. And I found one in the thrift store a few weeks ago. Well, pretty stoked about it. Finally got one. Anyway, the boards. It's latest for it's just this is all the source. It looks really complicated, maybe for new coders, but I'm going to sort of deconstruct it, so you can see it live here. And I put on my reading glasses for a moment, and it's yeah, it makes drawing SVG template kind of thing, and it's sort of soft 3D. Do a soft, don't use video cards on calculations on 3D, just 2D or 3D soft engine. So I explain a bit. And if you press F12 here on Windows, you can see the console. And you can also find it like this, 1 second. Boom, 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 boom. More tools, developer tools. You can also check the sources. Sometimes if you have a wallet on, you have to go back to the page here to find it. This is the board, this is the index, and the fxhash. This is the bigger one. These days they use to compress fxhash. So I can also say here like save as. Boom, boom, boom. HTML. Support. Go, go, go. Index. HTML. And I have to find a recent fxhash. Look, open the source for a moment. The fxhash at here. Look it up. Copy. Nope, nope. It's the fxhash. Boom. I have now index and fxhash. Boom. So it runs now local for my machine. Okay, so let's change things around. Come on, baby. So it's local, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to strip a bit. Is the favicon. Don't really need it, but if you don't have a favicon, you can load it as an image or SVG as well, I think. Maybe that's maybe even better and small, but I put it in the source as well. I like to put all my code in one big index. So I'm going to remove it for now. I'm going to do a bit of cleaning. Save. And it's reverse engineering. You remove stuff. It's still working. So what I'm to do, remove next. No, the fxhash snippet. I keep. It's always handy. Here's my JavaScript. So it's I'm going to remove some stuff so it's more easy to see. Big piece of code. On the bottom part I have my animation kicking in. And above it's all tech. So mostly when I'm working on a file, I have the tech stuff and the animation, this one separate. So I have also a new keyboard, so sorry about it. xxx.gs. Make a new one for save as xxx.gs. Boom. This is my animation part on the bottom where I do all the drawing. Shush. And I'm going to put this big one. Oh. Copy X and put it here. So I have just the animation in this file. Save all. And I'm using a Chrome now here. And Notepad++, free open source kind of text editor. And I have also to include my xxx. Mostly in the end I put it just in one big index.html files because certain ad blockers would block external JavaScripts and the code wouldn't run. So and really for coding I prefer the tech part, this part, just separate from just my animation here. Because I'm going to look at the tech part again. I have this fancy background animation kind of thing with the fades. That's a different layer. That's this canvas background block div. I'm going to remove the background animation. It's reverse engineering. It's sort of cleaning out all the stuff and see if it's still working. it gives now an error because I removed it. So where did I put my canvas animation? Boom, boom. This fancy CSS thing. Don't need the document title here. Save. Going to remove the whole this the CSS background animation. It's really sort of changing the HTML with JavaScript. I'm going to remove this one as well. And in the body, I'm going to this is still style sheet. I'm going to fix the background color, put it a bit more darker. Okay. Next, what we're going to remove. SVG, set source, 3D stuff, timer, save image, save SVG. Yeah, I'm not working on the Windows resize here either. Also remove the background animation. CSS. And I'm going to check my. Come on, baby. Error 45. CSS animation. Save. Yeah, very good. I'm going to strip even more. I have my image width and height. I just do it at the start. It's 2000 here, so I can remove this. It's flexible. It change different ratios, you know, square and rectangle kind of thing. I'm gonna remove this one. Up. Still working, but now it's always square kind of thing. Because and I set the title here. I put show FPS on true for the moment to see the FPS counter. It updates every second kind of thing and shows the mouse X position, Y position. Don't really need the mouse position either for the moment. So I'm going to find tests. We're moving the save. Well, I put it in the source like how you do the mouse and stuff. Like on the top there's this window advanced listener that will check if the page is loaded. It will jump to this routine, boom, and then I could do my inits and check more event listeners. Like this is on the resize. I can check that. So what it does is it checks as an event if the window is resized. It will go to this thing, but I'm not really using it for the moment. I can say like test is new change window, and I put the test here. So reload. See, change window. Really have to get a better new keyboard. So it's nice sometimes you really, if you're working with user interfaces and stuff, it's nice to check the window width and height, so how you get it. But I'm not really using it, this, so I'm going to remove it as well when on window resize. Boom. Check if it's still working. Oh. If it's still used somewhere. Save. Reload. Thing is still working. And yeah, I was checking the mouse position as well and the touch in here. Not going to need it now because yeah, I have a click that changed the color mode. I can remove that as well. It's just for going to reverse engineer a bit, make it as small as possible. So in the init I put also event listeners to update the mouse position, and the touch is included as well. I don't need that. Boom. Save. I'm gonna go double check if I'm still using somewhere the mouse. No. Save all. Text is getting smaller, kind of thing. Keep the keyboard in for the saving. Save. So. Yeah, use also. That's all. Okay, it's getting smaller. Clear the canvas, set the width height, have a global background color. Color. Mouse is not working anymore, so I'm going to find this one. Color, just keep the color version now. So I'm going to reload it, still working. Okay, start here. I select my canvas and I put the canvases here on the bottom. Got this ID, my canvas. Also, when you released on fxhash, you need that as well for the thumbnail. Like canvas, this, my canvas. If you want to change, have the thumbnail, you know, it needs that canvas. And the name is ID is put here, and I can select it to scale it, you know. I select my canvas, set the width on the image width and height. I did. If I don't do that, reload. Doesn't do it, you know. Get my canvas again. Clear rectangle. It clears the screen. Get a random background color. Yeah. Change here the color to make it more gray. Don't need that. Move. And make this this is global color. I only use that one. Like the thing is, I have global variables and local variables. And when I start this animation, uh, like when the page is loaded, it kicks off this one. And here I put kick off the animation. And the animation, I put a request animation frame. So what that does is like it makes sort of animation frame and it checks and draws at 6 frames per second, you know, if you're drawing things. And I put a FPS counter in it, simple one. If you don't do this, it only does it like one time or does nothing, you know. But this is really important to have my main loop. And here, my animation part, it jumps to my animation, you know, in this runs at 60 frames per second. I can do this as well. To save parts, keep that in. And yeah, I start with animation counter 0. This runs at 60 frames per second, so every 60 times it jumps to this. And let's start have a sort of animation counter here at the start. Find animation counter 0. So when it jumps here, it first does this. It looks at my counter and it does 1, you know. And this is more like clearing the canvas and setting the width and height of your canvas. So it's more sort of in it, you know. And then the next frame, my animation counter is 1, you know. And so I have sort of script. Animation counter is 1, so I init the SVG header to draw one rectangle, go to 3, next frame, draw a lot of squares, you know. I can make it now just like 12. And also like when it's done, it sort of writes, adds all the lines and things to my SVG. Go to the next one, add the footer, and show it on the screen, the SVG. And then I say, go to animation counter 100, do the fxhash preview thumbnail. And in this thing, I loop like with this counter, another counter. I loop like 400 times, so that's like 6 frames per second. 400, you know, so it waits a bit until my counter is bigger than this. And then I put my animation counter back to 0. So it will start at the top here again. And clears the screen, and so I have sort of in my animation I have sort of loop. Well, it's fireworks. Anyway, we're going to change this a bit around. Reverse engineering. You strip kind of all kind of stuff that's not really needed and confusing, because I want to sort of make it as small as possible. Boom, boom, boom. So yes. Well, here I do this line thingy. Not using it for the moment. Oh, I can remove this. Yeah, make it a bit more bigger. Translate. I'll put the scale on 1. Make that even more bigger. The rotation, I can put this on 45 as well. 3D. It's a soft 3D engine. So I'm going to explain a bit more. This rectangle here, I can remove all the 3D part here as well if you want, because I'm drawing here my SVG. And basically what I do is I just make one, just for the moment I do one let's make it 4 kind of thing. Draw 4 rectangles. Okay, this translation, well, I'm going to remove first. I did a sort of shading kind of thing, and I really don't want colored shading for the moment. Just 3D, so going to move color. And my SVG is just big text file, so I was looking at typefax code, and then I saw, yeah, SVG is really like just a text file, and with a header, and so I made sort of my own new routines, and like with the previous the board number 3, it had like this kind of slash polygon kind of things, but yeah, if you have like 1,000 polygons, the file is going to be really big. So I close it now with just this slash, and to make the file size even smaller. So I have sort of header and the footer, and then between the SVG header and footer you can add polygons or lines or anything like that, you know. So let's start with the header here. Draw this rectangle. I'm going to remove all that for the moment. Whoosh. Just draw now some rectangles. I'm not going to use the light at the moment. So this is all the light stuff. Boom. Basically, when you have like if you have a face, you know, and I rotate it, I have normal here. And when I rotate it, I can rotate the normal as well. And based on the rotation, I can make the color brighter or darker, you know. And that gives this shading, lighting effect. And also if I change of look at the calculations of the light and the shape, I can make it like more brighter or darker, but I'm not using lightning at the moment. Just want to do the rotation scaling and kind of thing, simple. So let me see, this is the old 2D to 3D routine I use to convert XIZ into XI. screen coordinates. So that's really the thing, you know. Of my rectangle, this translate. So put this a bit further away from the camera. Oh, that's something. Mm, hmm. Undo. Of course, I did. Now it's working again. Rectangle. Save. Yeah, you can also angle. I don't need. Here's the normal. I rotate that based on the normal rotation. I get an angle kind of thing, and that I use for shading kind of thing. This one. Don't use the angle here. Also no transparency. Save. So put up far here. I was thinking why it's all dark. But these are globals, you know. So it's global, and I said in one frame I put it set the, in the init. I set the color, and then I use the next in the rest kind of thing. And I'm going to strip a bit more. And like the 3D thing is really what translation. I can just put it on 40. 140. That's the distance, set distance, you know. Shit. Looking at the wrong put here. Like, that 11. What I do is here put the distance, and based on the distance I make the X and I bit bigger, you know. So I can also say they said this like see. And in the what I do is have my translation, scale, and rotation, and I put this all in a one big matrix. My translation, scale, and rotation, and I have here like a simple rectangle I can rotate, and with like no x, y, and z points, and store it. Do a calculation soon to store it in a 2D engine. I get my first point, make it a vector or a thing, and with this rotation kind of thing, I created a matrix where I put in all the this is more like the soft 3D engine kind of thing. I get a rotation on X, Y, Z, get the matrix for it. I add these different rotations on X, Y, Z. I put it in one matrix here, add them all together, I get the translation matrix, scale matrix. I'm going to add them all together, and then in the final I get sort of matrix kind of thing. Looks like this kind of a big block of thing. And what the matrix does kind of thing is I have like my x, y, z point, and I put it through the matrix, and it will rotate, translate, and scale. Rotate on x, y, z, scale on x, y, z, translate, translate on x, y, z, and then I can sort of push all my points through this matrix, and then I get the correct new positions kind of thing in space. So I use the matrix really to rotate the shapes, scale, and translate. So that's real, and it's just mathematical kind of tech. I used matrices early 90s, and at one moment I want to do really texture correct perspective texturing. So I did some more research, and then besides XIZ, I also need this kind of W value for perspective correct texture mapping. And I once found a tutorial by Simon Young back in the days, and I asked him to if I can use his matrix functions as well with this W extra thing included as well. So basically, like if you have a real big world with a lot of points and all going everything, and you just change the camera, then you have to translate all the points, scale all the points, rotate all the points. It's all a big hassle. But if you have all your points of your 3D space and your camera, and you calculate the new rotation, scale, and translation, you get this matrix ready and push all these points through this matrix. You get the new coordinates for the when the camera is changed or this and that. So it's super handy using matrix functions. And yeah, that's what I do here. And I made also I'm not sure on 5GS editor. Also like sketches here. Like I have simple thing as well here, processing. And if you check here, highlight, highlight sketches. Here, editor P5, highlight sketches. I have also sort of did the same thing in kind of processing. And just have a thing, you know. Where I do the same kind of matrix functions. translate, rotate it. Going to create a matrix, one matrix with translation in it on XYZ, rotation in it, XYZ, scale in it, XYZ. And then for these rectangle points, I'm going to throw them in the matrix, and it gives my new coordinates kind of thing. So this is also a simple processing example. So and anyway, with reverse engineering, it's really removing all the kind of, it's still a big file now. But yeah, you're going to remove all stuff you don't need and see if it's still working until you get like just rotating one triangle or one square kind of thing, and then you can use it for your own creative experiments. But with the matrix thing, it's really sort of, I have my 3D points now, a rectangle, and I can sort of translate it, scale it, rotate it on XYZ, make a matrix, push here. And when I have this matrix, I'm going to push this rectangle through this matrix here. So I get every point, and push it through the matrix, and I get sort of new XYZ coordinates based on the rotation I did and scaling and translation. And then I calculate here like the screen coordinates, very old routine to sort of convert XYZ to XI coordinates on the screen. And then going to draw it next. And I use mostly also sometimes these buffers, because I'm not going to put the alpha now on. Let me see if I can do the brush. Okay. Brush width. Alright. So, my translation, scale, rotation, make a matrix, get a rectangle ready, and a new recording array for recording my points. I get these points of my SQX, and it's four points now for the rectangle in XYZ. Push them to the matrix here, and this gives me a new XYZ position based on the rotation scale and translation I did, and convert it to screen coordinates. put it in a 2D buffer for drawing and record it as well. And since I'm doing on the screen, I want to keep track of my set distance. So for these 4 points, I sort of calculate 4 points with the set position. It's sort of based in the middle of I needed a recorded set position, and I need that set position for the set sorting, the set sorting routine. I can sort of disable it, and it wants just draws the thing, you know. And but, sometimes you want the sorting on set. A lot of people start really far, drawing far away, and then going closer. But you can also record all the set position of every rectangle and then quick sort it. It's also old routine of mine that I didn't invent, but it's a quick set sorter. It will sort all the shapes based on the set position. So that's why I recorded this kind of set position kind of thing. And then with the set sort, you can sort of sort all the rectangles. So the closer it gets. So I can also change this around for a moment, because I'm drawing fast further away first. You see, it draws smaller ones on top and the big ones really last. And if I do that all around, it draws the big ones last and the smaller ones last first, kind of thing. So with the set sorting, I can sort of calculate the basic position, and then based on the sorting of the set, I can draw them different, kind of thing, you know. Maybe I have to change it around as well, so you can see it's a bit better. So if I'm going to make scaled real far, it draws the small ones on top and the bigger ones last. And if we don't do the sorting, or change the sorting around, it will draw the big ones last and the smaller ones real far. And if I don't do the sorting, it will just draw small ones and bigger ones. Without like this is make a bit more now. It draws big ones, small ones, all across together. Put the set sorting on. draws the big ones last and the smaller ones hidden. And if you do it the other way around, see, the furthest way get drawn for, at last, and the bigger ones real far away, you know, so you can really make really sort of inverse set buffer drawing and experiment with that as well. I did that kind of thing. And if I don't do the sorting, it will sort of draw big ones all scratch. But sometimes you really want to have sort of problem with SVG is like there are factors, and like if the sorting now is like it looks the closest one. But if you have like intersections, you don't see that's not possible, you know. Then you really have to go pixel level or make kind of 3D pixel engine and convert that to SVG again. But that's sort of the sorting thing. Yeah, and then I saved the little bugger. And yeah, I made sort of my own quick SVG saver. It starts with a header and I pass it width and height. It makes a big text line for the header with the footer, and it's also a line, but you can also make your own kind of, if you look in the file formats of SVG, you can make maybe a circle or something, you know, but you have to write it yourself. And how you have to look at the file format, how SVG saves uses circles. So you have to write your own. I did just a polygon and a line now, but you can add more SVG parts. And I just SVG is just a big text file, you know. So if I just make it real small, like draw 4. And put it to this text file, and I can say alert SVG what I created, and then this is defined. You see having some errors here. You have to check that out later. Anyway, so it's basically the engine kind of thing. With reverse engineering is really you look at the file, like if I save it here, vector v. I see still an error I have to bug out, but that's the SVG, you know. Maybe I made a little mistake here. Yeah, it's the sorting thing. I messed up. Maybe. This SVG. So you look at the SVG file and then you say, oh, I have a header, it needs this. I have a polygon, that needs this or that, and then the footer, you know. And if you have like Inkscape, so you look at the SVG file and then sort of reverse engineer the thing, you know. So give you a text with width and height, and this makes the thing, you know. So, and the polygon points, my points, fill, stroke, width. So you look at SVG file, see what's needed, kind of thing. Then and you see here also space. Can also remove that. So and yeah, look at the file and then write code to create the thing. You know, it's just plain text XML. So I can see if it works or not. See, there it is. So you look at the SVG file, you can make also like a circle or something, you know. Boom. Save the thing, look at the key SVG. Oh, it's a lot of bloody blah. And what I need is ellipse here, this thing. Oh, do I need that? Fill, stroke width, I know that. A stroke line cap. ID, CXI, rotation. So if I want to write down a vector or own a circle thing, I can do something like ellipse. But it needs stroke width, stroke. Yeah, I don't need this for the moment, I think. Style. I think this is enough. Six, RX. I don't need this as well, I think. is position xi. So so 6 insert say I rx and ri. Then this is ellipse. Boom. Say x say I. I and stroke width, I think. 6x rotate pitch. And I give the, like this is the texting, you know. This is the flexible code. So I can also do here say x, say I, x, I. So it looks a bit different than so I'm going to save this. Let me see if it works. So I'm going to add one ellipse on the thing. Not sure it's working, but we'll see. Just before the footer. Say like position, well, 500, 500. Put xi position. And going to, well, make it also 600 big. That to my SVG file. My stroke. First width. Sure it works, but we'll see. Custom new. No. No good. Okay, there we got the circle. It's a bit big. And, position. So custom SVG edit kind of thing. So that's how you reverse engineer stuff, and I just added a quick SVG thing to add elapse, you know, so you look at source and then you sort of figure out how it works, and then I can sort of save it again and go to use Inkscape again. It's already loaded, but so by just saving the thing, you can sort of figure out how the format is working. Dude, there's my fucking circle. Save. Check it. I did still a little mistake in it. But anyway, that's how you sort of reverse engineer and sort of figure things out. And probably made a little error in it or something. And although it shows on screen, this showing in the Inkscape, so you really have to make it work, kind of thing. And yeah, that's basically code class for today. Okay, wish you a nice day. Enjoy the new year 2024. Make it create a fantastic year. Ignore all the bullshit and don't get triggered too much. Get creative and get coding and stuff like that. Okay, bye bye. Wish you a good new year.